Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way, and I am excited about this guest that we have on because he's going to educate us on a lot of different things, and I'm not going to give away the ism that we're going to be talking about today because Dr. Cooley over there is kind of looking at me all strange. And I'm not gonna get out of the way, So I tell you what, how you doing, Dr. Cooler? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I love this topic. Um, you know, but there's so many questions I have to ask this amazing guest who's coming up about this particular topic. But I don't think we ever really discussed it in detail on any of our shows. So we're really interested in this.
No, this is the first. This is the first time
Yes.
that we talked about this, but I tell you, it's a great topic to discuss because a lot of people are going to find out a lot of things about themselves. Hey, how you doing out there, Todd? Are you still there?
I'm always good. You wouldn't tell us what ism is it, but you're always talking about enthusiasm.
And that's part of it right now. But I don't
You
want
ready to lock it in, James?
Hey, let's lock it in. Let's lock in radio
Here we
television,
go.
live streaming.
31. It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Doctor James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way today. We got this guest that resides over in Germany, but has offices in the United States as well, and he's gonna talk to us about a couple of great things, maybe more than a couple. And I'm just so excited to have him on the show. But I'm also I'm excited to see my beautiful wife Michelle, who's back in Texas, and I'm in California right now, just winding down. But I'll be back real soon.
Yay. We're definitely excited about that. And we're excited about this guest we're having on the show today. And I think a lot of people can relate to this particular topic that I'm getting ready to mention in a minute or so. But I don't think you have a problem with this particular topic, James. But I know I'm confusing the audience, but I'm excited about the guest.
Well, no, I don't have a problem with this, but I still want to learn. But whichever platform that you're watching this on, was E360 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or 68 other live platforms, welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do, just go to the comments on the platform that you're watching us on and ask any question that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. KCBQ AM 1170, the answer, FM 96.1. And my main man, Todd, will put you through. Michelle, I can't take it no more. Can you please introduce the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely fantastic guest?
Oh, most definitely. So the title of today's show is Coffee Addiction and Caffeinism. Wow. So we're having a conversation with Norbert Heuser. He is an author and entrepreneur. He's going to discuss caffeine as an addictive substance, balancing caffeine consumption, cultural integration of caffeine, and addressing caffeine's health risks. And we're also going to discuss his book, which is the title of the show, Coffee Addiction and Caffeinism. So, born in Germany, Norbert Heuser is an author and entrepreneur with a footprint in Europe and Asia, founding companies across Taiwan, Hong Kong, Germany, United States of America. His deep engagement with Eastern medical practices over the past 35 years has influenced his professional focus and personal passion for alternative medicine. Currently headquartered in Germany with a co-office in the United States of America, Hughes' career spans 36 countries, blending his interests in health and technology. After a severe health crisis at age 30, he began developing products that address modern environmental health risks like poor water quality and electromagnetic radiation. His latest book, Coffee Addiction and Caffeinism, explores the global impact of these substances, As a speaker and a workshop leader, he's frequently invited to share his expertise on health, technology, and the importance of clean living environments across North America and Europe. His work embodies his commitment to enhance global health through innovative solutions. It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley welcomes Mr. Norbert Heuser to the show.
Well, thank you. You gave me too many flowers up front. I don't deserve them. I don't deserve them. Or do I? I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. First time. I'm very privileged. Thank you.
I am so excited to have you on to talk about this topic, to talk about your book and educate others out there that need education. As Michelle mentioned, I'm not a caffeine coffee drinker, but it's always nice to know, because certain products that you and I had discussed when we was in the green room, you know, that a lot of people don't understand. And you mentioned something about pristine water and a lot of other different things. And I want to touch bases on all of those things. But first of all, can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about you, where you grew up, what makes you click, and why you're so passionate in what you do?
Well, it's very simple. I'm German. I was born and raised in Germany, and I moved over to the United States as my first residence 25 years ago. I lived partially my life in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan. I visited 37 countries. I had companies in several countries. And at the age of 30, I was close to die. And I dove into alternative medicine. And I remember that as a 3-year-old boy, I left this body, had an out-of-body experience a few times in my life, and which shocked me because nobody ever talks about that this is possible. So I never talked about it till I met some people later who confirmed they had similar experiences. And I realized that we are spiritual beings and we have a calling. Some of us listen to the calling and follow it. Some don't listen and don't follow it, but we all are spiritual beings. So I wanted to improve the condition on this planet and for the people, because I saw many things are wrong. I saw things are completely wrong in regards to quality of water. Things are completely wrong in regards to use of cell phones, Wi-Fi, and what have you. And today, every third person dies of cancer. And for me, the main reason is electromagnetic radiation, which is used in cell phones and Wi-Fi. I never saw on CNN news which clearly explains to me why every third person is dying of cancer, and the number getting worse. So I took some responsibility and I had interest. The basic of learning is you have to be interested in the subject. If you're not interested, you will not learn. So I was interested in to improve the situation, and I got sick 15 years ago, and my firstborn grandson got sick at the same time. And it was very easy for me to figure out it was due to cell phone. Looked around in the world, there was nothing in this world which protected you from cell phones, that you can use them but not get harmed. And then I started to develop my own first product, never thinking it would end up in a company. So that's a bit of a crash course.
Wow. You know, so I just like everything that you just said. And I'm curious, if you had to pick one adjective to describe who you are and why you're so passionate about this, what would that be and why?
To help mankind.
To help that. And that's what it's all about. And I think we all need to focus on helping mankind, regardless of anything, our differences and all of those great things.
Well, it was sparked with me, particularly when my grandsons were born. They were born in my jacuzzi bathtub at home. And all of a sudden, I felt I had a bigger responsibility than ever before in life. And I took that responsibility and soon saw, well, these are my grandsons, but there are other grandsons and other children. So then it was easy to expand the responsibility to other people, not just keep it to yourself and the family.
You mentioned health and technology. And you mentioned a couple of things that inspired you. Could you go a little bit more deeper into that? Because you, to me, I sense a man that knows where he's going, that knows the road to help others out, and that's willing to share his knowledge so people will have a better understanding.
Well, I work for many years as a life and health consultant in different countries in the world. And I assisted a lot of people who were alcoholics. And I started to understand the mechanics of alcoholism and addiction. What is addiction? Addiction, there is something, a craving, which is stronger than your free will to say no. That's all. The bottom line, my definition of addiction, a craving for something which is stronger than your free will to say no. And I developed my thesis, and I developed this thing where I said there are 3 P's in your life you can be addicted to. 3 P's. P apostrophe. One is you can be addicted to a product, to a person, or to a procedure. These are the 3 areas you can have an addiction. And I've seen people die of an addiction of milk. Now, addiction is not only drugs as we know it, and not only what we consider bad stuff, or alcohol, cigarettes, whatever. You can be addicted to sugar, to sweets, to chocolate, to milk, as I said. I saw this man dying because of a milk addiction. 30 years ago, I came across a doctor who saved my life, and he was working 40 years ago. He was working on food addictions. And I went as an intern with him for 1 year. We tested for 1 year, every day except Christmas, every day except Christmas and Sunday. And I learned what addiction and craving is. If you have a craving, you have always the craving for the wrong. You don't have a craving for salad. You have a craving for the wrong. And when you look at advertising today, commercials, 99% of all commercials which go through your mouth, products which go through your mouth, 99% are addictive.
Can you hold that thought? Because we got to take a station break, but I want to get back. And addiction, a craving, I want to pick it up from there because it seems very interesting. And I tell you, whichever platform that you're watching this on, if you want to be part of the show, all you got to do is just go to the comments. That's any question that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Hey boy, a journey that ain't
Dr. James JC Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hey boy, City Boy, a journey that ain't over yet by James JC Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Dr. James JC Cooley. It's the James Cooley Show.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, Norbert is really laying down some knowledge, and not just that, but love. Through past experiences, sometimes the light come on, and we understand that we are here for a purpose and a reason, and whatever God gives and talents that He gave us, we need to utilize that to make life better, not just for ourselves, but for everybody around, in the world, in his case. And so I want to commend you on that, Norbert. You're doing a great thing. And also, I want to pick it back up where you were talking about the addiction, and when you was talking about how you was going about explaining that, and how sometimes you see things differently when you go through a change in life. Can you pick it back up?
Sure. So I worked with alcoholics, and let me quickly explain how addiction works. An alcoholic today, it's raining like cats and dogs. The alcoholic says, "Oh, such a bad day, I got to drink something to have some joy." Tomorrow the sun shines, it's a beautiful day. The alcoholic says, what a beautiful day, we got to celebrate it. He will always have an excuse, justification for the alcohol. And every alcoholic I worked with, the very next day when he was sober, he swears to God, "I will never ever drink again." And he believes it. He believes in what he says, "I will never drink again." And then come a day, an hour, 2 days, whatever, and it kicks in again. This craving for the wrong is stronger than his free will. And 99% of all products which are advertised in commercials, which go through your mouth, are all addictive. Soft drinks, fast food, medical products, alcohol, cigarettes, sugar products, sweets, coffee. These are all addictive, and they are heavily advertised because the companies are not stupid. They know for every $1 million they spend on advertising, they get back $10 million, because once these people started to consume these products, they're hooked and they're customers for life. Now, your wife mentioned before, you may have not a problem with coffee, but when we talk about this now today, it's not only coffee, it is caffeine. The problem is not coffee itself, it's the caffeine in the coffee. And nowadays we have caffeine in so many soda pops, all these energy drinks, Red Bull, Coke products, they all have caffeine, and many of them more than in coffee. So I watch them, the same reactions from people who were alcoholics. I watch the same reaction with people who drank coffee. Now, I must say, to bring my thoughts here, in this lifetime, I never ever drank any alcohol. I never smoked cigarettes or harder stuff. I never drank coffee. I never took drugs in this lifetime. So I was a very clean guy. And when I came across the coffee situation, and in my seminars, I always said, I warned the people about coffee. And when we had this lockdown where I couldn't give workshop seminars and couldn't travel, I made a self-test. I said, okay, let me prove to myself what is the situation with coffee. And I started to drink every day 1 cup of coffee with a target to do it for 30 days, and after 30 days to stop, just 1 cup. All right, so I drive in the morning away to the office, got my coffee for 30 days. So after 30 days, I was supposed to stop, right? And the 31st day, I caught myself, I couldn't stop. I had to drive into the drive-in and get another coffee. And the next day, another coffee. And then I said to myself, you were stupid. You said 30 days. Why didn't you say 35 days? And I was looking for the same stupid excuses like, so to speak, an alcoholic or drug addicted person. And I realized I am addicted. So it took me 1 month, 1 coffee each to be addicted. And it took me 2 months to get out of it. And here I had my proof how addiction, how coffee works, caffeine. And then I started to research the world. And my findings were so serious that I decided to write the book. Swiss researchers have found that young people, healthy young people who drink regularly coffee, within 10 days, the gray matter of their brain reduced.
Wow. That's deep.
The University of Southern Australia, and all this information, what I'm saying here, I'm not pulling this out of thin air. Trust me. In my book, I give all the references, all the links where you can see the researchers and the sources, right? The University of Southern Australia in 2021 tested 17,000 people. 17,000 people between the age of 30 and 70. Their results: high coffee consumption is associated with reduced brain volume and increased risk of dementia. In 2019, they found an increased progressive cartilage degradation causes pain, stiff joints. The University of Santiago de Compostela in Spain found that especially for pregnant women and unborn babies, the caffeine is catastrophic. And here's my point. Where does somebody start to become an addicted person? In the womb of your mother. If she drinks coffee and Coca-Cola and energy drinks and what have you, all these names, you know them, Red Bulls or whatever the names are, the child, the unborn child, already gets his first push for addiction. So I came across all this information. I said, good, I got to write this down because people don't know. And the more I looked, the more I found. The NASA Institute, you say, what do they have to do with coffee? Well, they made a test with spiders. And again, you see it on my website. They took spiders and photographed the beautiful web of a spider. Then they gave that same spider caffeine. And then you look in my book, the difference between the catastrophic web design of the spider under caffeine influence. Catastrophic, just bad. Then I found that the Olympic Committee on 1984 banned caffeine as a doping product. It was on the list of the Olympic Games. If you got caught with caffeine, you were banned from the Olympic Games. That's how serious it is. It was. And then in 2004, 20 years later, they took it off. Why did they take it off? After for 20 years, they say it's a doping, right? And then suddenly on Monday morning, it's not a doping anymore.
Wow. So they banned caffeine from the Olympics.
Yes.
Yeah, so what societal trends have prompted a deeper investigation into caffeine impacts on your health?
Well, I gave you now all my researches. Mm-hmm. And in a minute, I have to explain where the devil is. This here are just symptoms, reactions, right? which I just gave you. One more reaction is we should live on a balanced pH level of about 7.5. Our human body is designed, our blood is 7.34. If our blood is 9 or 6, we would be sick or die. So the human body lives on a balance, let's say 7.5, which is balanced in pH. If the number becomes lower, it's acidic. It becomes higher, it's alkaline. If you drink coffee, the coffee has a pH of 4.2 to 5.9, which I show in my book. I bought a bunch of coffees and I tested them. And you see in my book the results. So coffee is 100 to 1,000 times too acidic for the human body. And we know that acidic means sick. We know that, for example, cancer thrives on acidity. So the consequences are out of this world. And in my book, there is a dependency potential graphic. And you see that caffeine is in the middle field of dependency, higher than LSD, and slightly lower than alcohol. You see all these different, how they work on the body. So all these give you all these consequences of sickness. Now, what is now the background to all this? We just talked so far about symptoms, reactions of caffeine, right? All right. Now, our human body, nature, God has given us what I call body emergency programs. We have body emergency programs, and we're not aware of it. If you're thirsty, that's an emergency program. The body says, give me something to drink or I will die. If you're hungry, the body says, give me something to eat or I will die. These are emergency programs where the body knocks on your door and says, you got to do something here. Sleep. I never forget, as a young guy, I fell asleep in the car while driving because I wanted to get home. And I was shocked. Sleep is an emergency program. If you try to stay awake, there's a point where your body knocks you out and goes to sleep and you can't control it. It's an emergency program. Number one, number two are emergency program. If you wouldn't feel it, you would see the consequences, okay? So we have emergency program. The biggest emergency program we have, to my definition, is stress. Now it goes intense into understanding. In old times, imagine emergency programs are God-given for reasons to survive. In old times, 30,000 years ago, when you met a saber-toothed tiger, you were scared to death. And in this situation, you had only two chances: to run for your life or to fight for your life. You have heard the expression fight or flight mode, right? Now, you had only these two chances. Now, to fight and run for your life, you needed energy, more energy than ever before. Our body produces what we call a normal level of adrenaline through the adrenaline glands which sit on top of your kidneys.
Hold that thought. I want to pick that up when we get back. We got to take a station break. This is extraordinary. And viewers out there, our listeners, I know that you are getting educated. This is a very exciting guest, a very knowledgeable guest that's laying it out. I tell you, you won't be part of the conversation. All you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on and ask any question that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. It's your life in which you show after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Country Boy.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah. Come on.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Let's go. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. All right.
Understand that their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, a journey that ain't over yet, is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, by Dr. James Cooley, on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome back to It's Your Life. I'll tell you, the guest that we have on today is spectacular and very knowledgeable and teaching the whole world a lot of things that they might have not known. I know that I have learned a lot, Todd, just in the last 35 minutes. What are your thoughts on the conversation?
Very interesting, and very interesting to find out about all the negative effects about coffee. Meanwhile, so many adults, at work, it's a part of their routine is drinking their coffee in the beginning of the day. But it makes sense that some people are addicted to it, because some people are pretty grouchy until they get their first cup.
Norbert brought up a point when he said that he did an experiment on himself. 30 days is how long the experiment was supposed to last. But it took him twice as long to knock it off, and to get it out of his head, to refocus, I guess, reset the mindset. So all of those things are important, because it is kind of like a drug addiction, I guess, the way that he is explaining it. Hey, can you talk about that a little bit, Norbert?
Well, so we just said that every person has a normal, healthy adrenaline level, which we need for our life. In the situation of fear of death, the adrenaline pumps out, adrenaline gland pumps out adrenaline through the vaso to give you the power, the energy to run or to fight. What people feel when they drink coffee, the energy boost, right? Now, what happens is, in this situation, very intelligently, the body says, I don't need sex now. I'm not hungry now. I'm not thirsty now. All the basic functions of your body are either reduced or completely stopped, because the body has to concentrate on run and fight, the lungs, the blood pressure, right? Fast reactions, okay? So and everything else is not needed. So the body says, okay, shut down your feel of hunger, of thirst, your problems, whether you forgot to switch off the cooker at home. It's all irrelevant. You're dying if you don't run or fight. That's a natural given situation, a pro-survival function called stress. It's not a modern invention. We had it since mankind as a survival tool. Now, and all the body functions get knocked off. So, when we drink coffee, or caffeine to be more precise, the stimulation to the adrenaline gland is the same like sitting in front of a tiger, fear of death. So the caffeine pumps the adrenaline level through the wazoo, and consequently, most all other body functions are reduced. And this harms the human body. It harms it so much that a country fellow of mine in Germany, he has a private cancer hospital. And his name is Norbert Heuser. I quote him in the book. I give links and so on. Everything I'm talking about is in my book and more intense explained. So Lothar found out that all his cancer patients had no more a normal adrenaline level. They didn't have it anymore because having chronic stress over months and years about of cancer worn out the adrenaline gland. So the needed adrenaline level for life is not there anymore. And this is a consequence of this chronic stress and of drinking coffee. Now, the point is, if you drink a caffeine, it takes about 20 hours to get out of your system. So if you drink your first coffee in the morning at 8 o'clock, right, for breakfast, the second one perhaps later at 11 o'clock in the office, as soon as you come in, everybody comes a coffee, and here's a coffee, and there's a coffee. So which means the first coffee doesn't have 20 hours time to get out of your system. It's being reinstated again by another coffee, by a Coca-Cola, by an energy drink, all through the days, which brings you in what is called in chronic stress. If you ask somebody, are you in stress? Oh, no, I'm fine. Drink my coffee. I'm fine. I'm fine. They don't even realize they put their body in a chronic stress, and they worn out their adrenaline gland. And this happens all year round. Now, you're surprised that every third person dies of cancer nowadays? I am not. And to my definition, the pharmaceutical industry will never, ever find a product to heal cancer. Never, ever, mark my words. Call me back in 50 years. Because they're looking in the wrong direction. There are several possible reasons for cancer, and there is no medication for cancer. That's my personal opinion. Okay?
Wow. It's Norbert, do you believe that, caffeine addiction, basically, coffee, and I know caffeine's in other products as well as like chocolate. It's not just in coffee, but let's go with coffee. Do you, people with pre-existing conditions, right? If they are addicted, quote unquote, to coffee and caffeinated coffee, besides their stress levels going up, does it also have an additional underlying effect on their health if they do have pre-existing conditions, whether it's, diabetes, high blood pressure, or, or some heart issues, or, chronic diseases like Parkinson's, or, just Alzheimer's? Do you believe caffeine just exacerbates the condition?
Yes. I know I don't make a lot of friends on this show now, as I'm not very politically correct, okay? Let me throw you something at you. First of all, I do not believe that you can inherit an illness from your parents. You cannot. Your parents can, because of illnesses you have as they condition you or mistreat you mentally or physically, but not because your father had cancer and you have cancer in consequence. For me, this is big nonsense. You cannot inherit an illness, full stop. And in my philosophy, your brain doesn't think, but you as a spiritual being, your mind thinks. So these are some basic philosophies I have. And if you have Parkinson on the rise, Alzheimer's on the rise, cancer on the rise, why are they on the rise? We have such a great society with all the technologies and the tricks we have. The hospital should be empty except somebody broke a bone, but they're not. Because these people have dementia, Parkinson, cancer, are not ill. They are poisoned. They are poisoned. Okay? And then the poisoning shows with certain symptoms. My eldest brother had Parkinson. And I told him why he has Parkinson. And he didn't believe me because I was a small little brother. Because I never went to university. I never went to college. He went to university. He went to college. I was the small, young, uneducated brother, right? And I told him, you have metal in your teeth, metal fillings. And they cause your Parkinson. And it took me 3-4 years for him to get him to my specialist here in America. I was living at this time in Germany, to bring him to America to a friend of mine who's a specialist. And yes, they found metal, what you call amalgam fillings in his teeth. And once they pulled them out and they detoxed his body, he could go back to play soccer again as a soccer star. People are poisoned. They are not sick. Alzheimer is not an illness. It's a poisoning of the body, of the brain, in many cases, too much sugar and caffeine. And of course, we have bad food nowadays. I mean, and the water we drink is ridiculously bad.
Hold that thought, because I want to talk about the water, pristine water that you talking about. I know everyone is getting educated. I know I am. And I want to continue this education. So if you're going to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1174. 888-344-1174. And we'll see you shortly after this.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man's point of view is the new.
realization that life would never be the same, Cooley lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and this I can't say enough about this guest. I mean, the education that he is laying out, especially when it comes to caffeine, coffee. Caffeinism is what he called it, and it's a new book that's out there that I think that if you want to learn a whole lot more about this, you might want to go get his book. And I'm gonna ask him to tell our viewers and the listeners how they can get his book. No, but how can they reach out to you and get your book, and reach out to you for any other services that they might have for you?
Well, I have a website which is a bit similar to your name. It's called improveyourlife.us. Improveyourlife.us. On this website, you find the products I designed. You find a lot of talk shows and interviews. You find my webinars, and you find there's a button, Norbert Book, where you find my book, Every Coffee Drinker is a Drug Addict, which is the original title. And it's $16.50 and $3.50 shipping across the world. You can find it there any day or time. I guess for sooner or later, we'll have it on Amazon. They're working on it because the book has just been released last week here in America. In Europe, I've released it almost a year ago.
Sounds like a winner. I think Michelle, he said that we will be getting a copy. I cannot wait to get it and read it.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. And we've been talking, and I know this is conversation that'll take hours to go into. But Norbert, what about, I drink decaffeinated coffee. Some people believe that decaffeinated coffee does not have any caffeine in it. Is that a myth, true or false?
It's a myth, but it's more important. Let me say before I answer this question, it's not only coffee and caffeine or energy drinks. You have caffeine as well in green tea, in white tea, and in black tea. Mm-hmm. They all have caffeine, okay? Not only coffee, okay? Then in my book, a lot of people say, I drink chocolate instead, hot chocolate instead of caffeine, right? And coffee. Please, in my book, I have a special chapter, What's the Danger of Chocolate? We don't go there now, but trust me, there is. So the problem is with decaffeinated coffee, which, by the way, was invented by a German countryman of mine. He invented the technology. The problem is that there are a lot of chemicals involved. So decaffeinated coffee has a lot of chemicals to get this effect, and it's not completely decaffeinated. And when I wrote the book, a German talk show host pointed it out to me. He said, look, you got to give us an alternative. When you have your morning coffee with your croissant, you cannot replace it with a cold water glass, right? You need something warm, hot, that feeling. So in the book, I give you alternatives. There's one which comes very close to the taste of coffee, but has no caffeine. So if you want to leave coffee behind, there is an alternative. However, a lot of people who listen now and drink coffee or caffeine, energy drinks, will say, I'm not addicted. And no matter which proofs I brought today about the consequences on health, I mean, 17,000 people reduced their brain volume by drinking coffee. That's a number you cannot ignore. But it's not relevant. The most relevant thing is yourself. So if you think very cocky, I'm not addicted, very easy, my friend. Stop tomorrow to drink coffee. If you're a real coffee drinker, my prediction is you will not survive 1 week, maybe not even 3 days, maybe not even 2 days. You will not survive. You will then have withdrawal symptoms. And it's only then you will realize I am addicted. That's all I want you to be aware of it. I'm not a disciple. I'm not a saint. But I want you to find out. So people come to me and say, as a life coach and health coach, well, why do I have cancer? I did everything right. And my answer is, health is not by accident, and illness is not by accident. You did not everything right. If you would have done everything right, you wouldn't be sick now. Sickness is a consequence of doing something wrong. And I want people to be aware. Like, I have people who have cell phones and have brain tumors. I say, guys, if you don't control your cell phone usage by certain product, like which I developed for $99, which makes your cell phone harmless, and it's proven, it's technically, scientifically tested, and people can see the test on my website before and after. I want you to be aware so that later on you're not puzzled, why do I have brain tumor? By the way, brain tumor is in Australia the #1 reason for children to die. Brain tumor, Australia, the #1 reason for children to die. And if you think about cell phones and blah, 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 you can connect the dots. So my target is to make people aware what I found out. You can believe what I say, not believe what I say. It's all irrelevant. You make the coffee withdrawal test yourself. And it shows to you, nobody else, just to you, am I addicted or not? And if you find you're addicted, then there are ways to go about it, which I explain in the book. But it's like a drug addiction. Fentanyl is addictive and deadly. Coffee is not as deadly instantly as other drugs.
Wow, we are out of time right now. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come back on the show. We got to talk about this some more, potentially later shows down the line. So, Norbert, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys for having me as your guest. It's been a pleasure and a good experience as well.
I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another fantastic show. I'd like to thank Krista for always recommending great guests. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my studios back in California, Todd, KCBQ. But most importantly, I'd like to thank my viewers and listeners. Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life.
Hi, this is John Kupal, President of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. Proposition 13 is the landmark measure over